everybody, and welcome to the All About Health podcast. My name is Georgia Overbeck, and I'm your host, and welcome to today's episode, which is going to be all about the differences between discipline and motivation. I feel like it's easy when you go on social media or even when you see people in real life that are very consistent with working towards a goal, especially if it's something that is not super easy. Like, for example, it could be sticking to a workout routine or continuing on as an entrepreneur, like starting a business, or even something as simple as continuing to read a book or to I don't know what it is. Take a class, stay consistent with school. There are so many things that you can see that and go, oh, that person is so motivated. And then you can ask them like, oh, how do you stay motivated all the time? And the answer is that really, most likely they are not motivated all the time and they actually have to rely on self-discipline. And then the question that would come after that is, well, how do you cultivate self-discipline? And so that's going to be what today's episode is all about, what the difference is between discipline and motivation and how to use both to work for you. But before we get into that episode and talking about the differences between self-discipline and motivation, we have the weekly recap. First thing I want to mention in this weekly recap is that this week I hit halfway through the 75 hard challenge. I'm so proud of myself for already getting to halfway. I'm really proud of the discipline and motivation that I've been able to keep up, and also the progress that I've made so far. I actually made a whole YouTube video about how the challenge is going so far for me and the progress that I've made. So if you want to check that out, then my YouTube channel is linked down below and I go into more detail about that. But so far it's gone really good, and I would say that I'm in a really good groove with the challenge right now. Like, I know when to drink my water and I know when I'm going to be working out and all these things and my supplements. So I feel like so far the challenge has been really good, and I'm excited to see how much more progress I can make in the second half of this challenge. The next thing that I wanted to mention as part of the weekly recap is that I have a new favorite breakfast that I've made twice this week. And you may be like, twice? That's not a lot of times to make it. But I've made it 2 days in a row, and usually I try a new breakfast every single day, and so this is a lot for me. So on, what day is it today? Today is Thursday. So yesterday I had a recipe to make a sorbet, and so the ingredients were frozen banana and frozen raspberries, and I was following a recipe and those were the only two ingredients, and so I made the sorbet, but then I was like, but there's no protein in this, like I want to add some protein, so I made a protein mug cake on the side, and then I decided to put them together into one bowl. So I had like my fruit sorbet with my warm mug cake, and it was so good, like amazing combination. And so I made it again today. I made it a little bit different. Today I made a like smoothie bowl recipe with the chocolate Quattro mug cake together, and it was amazing. I loved it. I really need to make a post about it so that you can make it too, but super simple. It would just be to make a smoothie or a smoothie bowl and then a protein mug cake and eat it together, and it's so good. My current favorite breakfast. The next thing I'm going to mention for the weekly recap is that I had a massage yesterday, and I had the massage it was my first one in about a year, and I'm just saying this because I want to remind you to take advantage if your job or employment offers insurance or coverage for massages or physical therapy or acupuncture, whatever it is that you enjoy, then make sure you're taking advantage of that. Through my dad's work, we have coverage and insurance, and so I am really grateful for that. I had a massage yesterday, and it just felt so nice, like some self-care and like getting out the knots and things like that. He did say I had a lot of knots, so I'm glad that those are gone now, and it just felt so nice. It was very relaxing, and so again, this is your reminder that if you have the coverage and insurance, to take advantage of that. And then the last thing I'm going to mention in this weekly recap is that on Tuesday, I went back to North Vancouver with my mom and my sisters for the first time since we lived there last year. So last year we lived in North Vancouver, British Columbia, and this summer we're living in South Surrey, White Rock, British Columbia. They're about an hour, 45 minutes away from each other, and so this was my first time going back to North Vancouver, and it was just crazy going back there and seeing like my old workplace and my old gym and our old house and where I would walk every single day, and it just brought back all those memories back of when I was like learning so much, because that was the first time that I had a job outside of the house, the first time I would go to the gym myself. That's also when I really started listening to a lot more self-development podcasts, and I feel like I just was learning so much at that time. But then it also made me think about how much I've changed since that time, externally and internally. Like externally, from the outside, I have cut my hair, I've gotten tattoos, I have changed my style, so many changes that way. But also internally, I feel like I have gotten out of my comfort zone more, I've learned so much more, I've matured. So it was kind of cool being back there to think about how much I've changed since then, and I think that was really cool. So that is something else that I'm going to recommend this week, even though this is not a recommendation of the week segment, is to reflect on how much you've changed over the past year, because it's actually really encouraging and it can be motivating to see how much you've changed, and it'll motivate you and encourage you to continue making changes, because who knows, next year you may look back at where you are now and be like, wow, I've changed so much since then. So make sure that you are putting in the work to make positive changes. Okay, now let's get into the episode talking about the differences between discipline and motivation. I do have some notes, so I'm going to read those off, and then I will go into more detail about how I feel about these topics. So picture this. You're embarking on your fitness journey, eager to crush your goals and become the best version of yourself. But how do you stay on track when the initial excitement fades? That's where discipline and motivation come into play. They're like the dynamic duo of success, working hand in hand to help you reach new heights. So let's break down what sets them apart. My definition and experience is that motivation comes from external measures and discipline comes from internal measures. Motivation and discipline often have distinct sources and characteristics when it comes to their origins and how they manifest in our lives. Motivation usually comes from external factors. It's sparked by things like inspiring quotes, success stories, exciting events, or even a friend's achievements. External stimuli trigger that initial burst of energy and enthusiasm, lighting up the fire within you. Think of motivation as a catalyst that gets you started on your journey. Discipline, on the other hand, is often more internal. It's the result of your commitment, dedication, and the choices you make every day. Discipline comes from within you, driven by your values, your goals, and your determination to stick to your routines and habits, even when the initial motivation wanes. It's the steady force that keeps you going when the going gets tough. However, it's essential to note that the relationship between motivation and discipline isn't black and white. They can influence each other. External sources of motivation can help you build discipline, especially when you use that initial motivation to create consistent habits. Over time, those habits can become ingrained as part of your internal discipline. In essence, while motivation might ignite the spark, discipline is what keeps the fire burning. Finding the right balance between the two is key to maintaining a sustainable and successful journey towards your goals. So let motivation be the wind in your sails and discipline be the captain steering the ship, leading you to your destination. So just some quick thoughts on that. I wrote all of that myself. So I think that motivation comes from external sources. As I said, it could be like reading a book or reading a quote or scrolling through Pinterest. Whatever it is that you find that motivates you, that is where motivation comes from, and is a great tool to have, because if you're ever feeling like, oh, I don't know what I want to do, like I am not motivated to go and do this, it's easier to get motivated by going to TikTok and like searching whatever it is you want to be motivated by. It could be like fitness girl workout, and then you watch that and then you're like, oh, if she can do it, I can do it. Or maybe it's like watching somebody sing and you want to sing, or it can be anything depending on your goals. Whereas discipline is something that comes from your habits, your routines. It's something that is ingrained in you. It's what your beliefs, your focuses, your values, that is where discipline comes from. Now I want to talk about them more individually, talking about the differences between motivation and discipline and how to acquire both. I know I just did quickly, but I want to dive even deeper into them. So I'm going to start with motivation. Motivation is that burst of energy and enthusiasm that propels you into action. It's like the spark that ignites your fitness fire. Think about the rush you feel when you set a new goal or come across an inspiring Instagram post. Motivation is all about those good vibes that get you started and excited about the journey ahead. So now I'm going to talk about some ways to use motivation effectively and make it your secret weapon on your fitness journey or whatever journey towards your goals that you want to hit. So number one is to set clear goals. Motivation thrives when you have a clear vision of what you're working toward. Break down your fitness goals or whatever goals it is into specific achievable targets. Whether it's running a certain distance, lifting a particular weight, or nailing a certain yoga pose, having a target gives your motivation a purpose. And then having those clear goals, you can go to Pinterest, you can go to Instagram, even go to Google and like search in people that are runners or people that do lift weights or yoga people, or again, whatever goal it is you may have. Maybe it's something with your job. Like you can Google people who have the job that you want, or the pet that you want, or the body that you want, or whatever it is, and that can be used as a source of motivation. Number two is to visualize success, and I feel like a lot of big like self-help, personal development coaches, life coaches talk about visualization. So what you want to do is close your eyes and picture yourself achieving your goals. You don't even have to close your eyes if you don't want to. It doesn't have to be that serious, but just think about what it'll be like once you hit your goal, when you cross the finish line or rock your outfit that you have been dreaming of. Maybe you're saving up money to buy it. Visualization makes your goals feel real and amps up your motivation to turn them into reality. Number three is to surround yourself with inspiration. Follow fitness influencers, read success stories, create a vision board filled with images that represent your goals. Surrounding yourself with positive visuals keeps your motivation ignited and reminds you why you started this journey. This is something that I've definitely talked about. I've talked about how I've made a vision board and how I like to make new ones every once in a while. Having a vision board isn't going to be something that is self-discipline. That's going to be something that can externally motivate you, and there's so many different ways to do it. Following fitness influencers, watching certain shows. Like I know that if you go to Netflix, there are a lot of shows about bodybuilders or about different fitness competitions. You could even go in person to gyms that inspire you, that have a lot of people that are living the lifestyle that you want to live. But again, this can be applied to any different goal. I just have a lot of experience in the fitness and health space, so that's why I'm going to be using those terms today. But you can apply this to any goal that you may have. Number four is to celebrate your small wins. Every step forward is a victory. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. When you acknowledge and reward your achievements, your motivation gets a boost, making you eager to achieve even more. Number five is to create a motivational playlist. Music has a magical way of energizing us. Craft a playlist with your favorite upbeat songs that get you in the zone. Press play when you're hitting the gym or going for a run, and your motivation will skyrocket. And you can do this, I know, for other things too. If you're somebody who can listen to music while you study or listen to music while you do a hobby, whether it's painting or writing or doing puzzles, then having that music will also help to motivate you and get you into that mindset. Number 6 is to find an accountability buddy. Team up with a friend who shares your fitness goals. Having someone to share your progress with and cheer you on can make a world of difference in keeping your motivation alive. I know that this has been something for me, and I know I've seen it on social media as well. People always say that if you have somebody that you are going to be going to the gym with, or say you book a fitness class and you know that your friend is going to be there, you're most likely going to end up going because you don't want to let them down and you have that accountability. Number 7 is to mix up your routine. Monotony can dampen motivation. Keep things fresh by trying new workouts, exploring different fitness classes, or changing your routine. Novelty sparks excitement and keeps your motivation levels up. Now, of course, you want to make sure that you're not always trying new things, because some level of routine and doing the same thing is important to actually create that consistency. But if you're at a place where you're like, I haven't changed anything up in a long time and I feel like I'm doing the same thing every single day, adding in something new or redoing your routine could be a great way to spark that motivation again. Number 8 is to journal your journey. Grab a journal and jot down your thoughts, progress, and how you're feeling. Reflecting on your journey not only helps you track your achievements, but also reminds you why you started in the first place, keeping your motivation on point. I have 2 more tips for motivation, and then we're going to move on to discipline. So the last 2, number 9 is to focus on self-care. Taking care of your mind and body enhances your motivation. Get enough sleep, nourish your body with wholesome foods, and practice relaxation techniques like meditation or deep breathing or whatever you find relaxes you. And then number 10 is to set rewards. Treat yourself to rewards for reaching specific milestones. It could be a spa day, maybe a massage, like I said at the beginning, a new workout outfit, or even a new recipe or healthier dessert option. And these rewards are going to create a positive cycle where achieving goals leads to even more motivation. Now let's move on to talking about discipline. I hope that you got something from that talk about motivation and that how you can create more motivation in your life and in your routines. Now talking about discipline. So discipline, on the other hand, is your trusty sidekick that keeps you going even when the excitement wanes. It's the commitment to your goals, even on days when hitting the gym feels like climbing Mount Everest. Discipline is what helps you stick to your routine, follow your healthy habits, and make progress even when motivation takes a back seat. Ways to harness the power of discipline effectively and pave the way to becoming your best self, here they are. So number 1 is to set clear intentions. Very similar actually to creating motivation, is to define your goals and the steps you need to take to achieve them. Clarity about your purpose fuels your discipline, making it easier to stay on track. Number 2 is to create a routine. Establishing a consistent routine sets the stage for disciplined action. Schedule your workouts, meal times, and even relaxation periods. Having a structured day helps eliminate guesswork and keeps you focused. Number 3 is to practice self-control. Train your mind to resist instant gratification. When faced with choices that could derail your progress, remind yourself of the long-term benefits of disciplined actions. Number 4 is to break down your goals. Divide big goals into smaller, manageable tasks. This makes them less overwhelming and allows you to track your progress more effectively. Number 5 is to eliminate distractions. Create a dedicated workspace or workout environment that minimizes distractions. Turn off notifications and commit to being fully present during your disciplined activities. Number 6 is to practice the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes to complete, do it immediately. This helps prevent procrastination and keeps small tasks from accumulating. Number 7 is to embrace the 5-second rule. When you hesitate to take action, count down from 5 and then move. This simple technique prevents overthinking and encourages immediate disciplined action. Number 8 is to learn from setbacks. Instead of viewing setbacks as failures, see them as opportunities to learn and grow. Adjust your approach and recommit to your disciplined path. Number 9 is to develop a growth mindset. Embrace challenges and view effort as a path to mastery. A growth mindset fosters resilience and encourages you to stay disciplined even when facing obstacles. And then lastly, number 10 is to reflect regularly. Take time to reflect on your progress and the actions you've taken. Celebrate your successes and identify areas where you can further enhance your discipline. I'm going to make graphics for both of these lists so that if you want to save them on Instagram, they will be posted there. So then you can go back and see when you are maybe you're low on motivation, you can see some ways that can help you to increase it, or maybe you're lacking self-discipline or you don't know how to activate it, then that would be a great way to get it going. So I'm going to post those on Instagram on the All About Health Pod account. And then just to recap quickly, so motivation is fantastic for getting started, but it's like a flickering candle. It can burn out. That's where discipline comes in. It's the steady flame that keeps burning, guiding you through the tough times. It's waking up early to work out, even when you'd rather hit snooze. Here's what I hope you got from today's episode. Don't rely solely on motivation to carry you through. Build a solid foundation of discipline by creating routines, setting clear goals, and embracing healthy habits. And when motivation does show up, let it be the wind in your sails. Combine these forces and you'll be unstoppable on whatever journey towards your goals you may have. And remember, it's not about being perfect all the time. Some days motivation will be your best friend, and other days discipline will be what you need the most at that time. Embrace them both and you'll find the balance that leads to sustainable success. And with that, I'm going to end off this episode here. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that it got you motivated, because that's what the episode's about. But then while you have this motivation, get as much as you can done. And then once it may go away, focus on your self-discipline and building that. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you enjoyed it. I would really appreciate it if you left a rate or review if that is something that you can do on the platform where you're listening. Thank you again. I hope to see you in the next episode.